Hey, everybody, and welcome to the live stream. I think I've got a few people that are going to be joining today. This is kind of a surprise live stream, if you will. So I am on board Freedom of the Seas, and we have Starlink installed. So I feel like I'm going where no cruise vlogger has gone before. I am attempting to use the live stream from the cruise ship Wi-Fi, something that I could not have dreamed we would be doing 2 weeks ago when they were installing it. But here we are. I am in my cabin on the 12th floor. I've got there's 3 bars on my Wi-Fi connection. I've got 2 of those that are actually listed. So the speeds are, it's not full Wi-Fi that's coming through, but it looks like in the feed down here, I'm getting a really good signal off of the Starlink network, enabling me to be able to stream onto YouTube. So if you're here in the chat, Sal, I see you out there. Let me know how this stream looks. How's the quality coming through? Can you hear the audio okay? This is my very first stream because I've never trusted the Wi-Fi enough to be able to accomplish this. So would love to hear in the comments, how's the video feed coming across? Are you seeing it in high definition or high resolution? So we can kind of test out this Starlink network here. So I've run a couple of tests so far this week on it, and the speeds have been fantastic. So I've been getting anywhere from like 10 to 12 megabits per second on the upload and the download. So on both ways, which is why I was able to stream. Here's the upload speed, also seems pretty good, all the way up to 50 content. So I'm really cool or really glad to be able to do this from the cruise ship. So the video encoding I'm hearing looks a little bit off from Tim, so thank you for that. One says it looks good. I froze. Testing it out and seeing, what the quality is here. For all of you that may be thinking of working remote, it's something that I certainly dream of. We want to make sure that those video calls and those conference calls that we're on, where we may be doing Zoom meetings or WebExes or whatever, we're going to be able to have solid video connectivity. That is huge. I can't have phone calls dropping. I can't have a video feed that looks, like it is from, the early days of webcams. So hopefully it's coming through pretty good. The audio I'm hearing is starting to degrade, so I'm still sitting in the same place. It could be just an ebb and flow with the various the megabits or the bandwidth that's coming through. But it looks like we're back at this point. So maybe that's one of the takeaways on, how's Starlink working? I know when I came on board on Friday, it took me a while to get my laptop to play nice with Starlink. So I was able to very easily get my phone to be working with Starlink. I think cell phones work very, very good with it. But the laptop didn't want to connect. And I heard from a few other folks that it would connect and then it would disconnect. So we would get on for 30 seconds, 45 seconds. We'd go through the login process with the Zoom package, and then it would drop us pretty soon after. And I heard that from a few folks. So I didn't play with it much on Friday because I had other things I needed to be doing. But when I came back on Saturday, it seems to be at least staying connected at this point. And a 20-second delay, I don't know if that's on the audio. Is that on my video? Either way, that's not good. I wonder if there's ways that I could maybe take the resolution down a little bit in what I'm broadcasting, and if that would make a difference. But the speeds, it's telling me, are pretty good. I wonder, can I even do a speed test while I'm live streaming? That would be something neat to pull off. So I just went to speedtest.net. It is showing that I am on the Starlink or SpaceX Starlink. My upload speed currently is coming in at 47 megabits per second, which is fantastic speeds, especially for a cruise ship that traditionally 1 to 2. It's 40 to 50 times stronger right now. My upload speed is coming in definitely smaller, but I'm also live streaming, coming in at around 7 or 8 megabits per second at the moment. Let's look at the comments a little bit. Hey there, Kevin, watching from Ovation. Very nice. You're over in Alaska right now. Always a beautiful place to go visit in CocoCay. Fantastic. So hopefully the video quality is stabilizing a little bit. You all will see that in some of my videos. I have always gone up to the Viking Crown Lounge or the Oliver and Twist here on Freedom of the Seas to shoot a lot of those. And one reason I do that is for my computer on the old network. I used to get better reception up on deck 14 in the Viking Crown Lounge. I'm not sure why that is. I used to tell myself because it was only me that was on that network or whoever happened to be in Diamond or Suite lounges. When it's dead up there, I get better reception. At least I feel like I got better reception. Some staterooms, you may remember the infamous video I'll say about the 2-bedroom Aqua Theater suite that I was in that had no Wi-Fi reception whatsoever. Some rooms just don't have as good of reception. So I've often found that I can hide away in the Viking Crown Lounge and find really good reception up there to be able to connect or have the best chance to connect some days with fingers crossed and on, bated breath there. So maybe if I go up there, I might try that later tonight, especially when everybody's back on the ship from CocoCay. Give this another whirl and see if Starlink can hold up better up in the Viking. And when everybody else is back on the ship, for those that have joined since we started, I am in CocoCay today. So most people are off the ship right now. It is 1 o'clock, so they'll start coming back about 2:30. But most people are on CocoCay enjoying, and so they're not really on the Wi-Fi network. They're not streaming, different movies and things like that. I did confirm. I ran a few tests yesterday on Friday when everybody was on the ship. I was able to directly stream YouTube at high resolution. The 2160 I think is what it was coming through. I was able to download episodes from Netflix as well, so I have a Netflix account, and I went on and I was successfully able to download an episode from Netflix. It took a little bit longer than I thought, and I've seen some areas where I feel like the platform I may be using is throttled, meaning that if I'm trying to download a movie or I'm downloading a large file or uploading some YouTube videos, I've got a couple of those that I uploaded yesterday that are in the hopper to share with all of you. I feel like that took longer than it should have with the speeds we just talked about, which were 50 megabits per second. So I think that it may depend a little bit on the application you're using. They still went through, took definitely longer than what I would have anticipated. Still finished, which is half the battle. Sometimes, I would literally on the old system to upload a YouTube video, and those come in at 2-3 gigabytes. They can be huge files because I like to record in 4K. I would set it to where it uploads overnight on the cruise ship. And sometimes I'd wake up in the morning and it would still have more to go, even after, a solid 8-hour night of sleeping. So it was very nice to see that at least got it done in 1 hour yesterday when I was uploading a similar size file. So, Sal, you're mentioning a great point here, and I've gotten a lot of questions on, how much is the cost of Starlink? So first of all, I don't know how much Royal Caribbean is paying to have Starlink brought on. What I will say is they have both systems running right now, which is definitely not cost effective. So you've got your guests that are using Starlink on this sailing, and they moved the crew off. So last sailing, the 4-nighter on Monday, the crew and guests were both on Starlink. During the weekend, they kicked the crew off for some reason. I'm not really sure why they did that. I think from the looks of it, there's plenty of bandwidth to go around, but they did kick off the crew this weekend. I'm not sure why. But with that, a lot of people are saying, hey, is it going to cost more to have Starlink aboard the ship? And honestly, it probably is going to cost Royal Caribbean a pretty penny to bring the newest and latest technology onto these ships. So the devices down that I showed you in the video that I posted last weekend, I think they run for about $500 each. However, I'm not sure what the actual subscription model is to make sure that we're maxing that bandwidth out. But rest assured, I think that Royal will probably wind up pushing that cost the guest, if you will. So prices for the Zoom and Stream, you all know what I'm talking about. The faster of the two internet packages is really what, $24.99 a day. And for a 7-night sailing, that adds up very, very quickly. So I'm not sure if they're going to up that price because it's already pretty high. It may be diminishing returns. If they bump that to $30 or $35 a day, I mean, me personally, I might say, you know what? I'm good. I don't need Wi-Fi at the expense of a drink package when I come onto the cruise ship. I'll just disconnect and enjoy. Or in my case, I need to make a video on how I stay connected with my phone. I switched over to Google Fi probably 6 months ago, and so I get really good speeds in Nassau, CocoCay, definitely over in Mexico, Honduras, San Juan, which is, if you have an American phone, you can get beautiful reception there too. So I don't necessarily need the ship Wi-Fi except for when I'm actually in on a sea day, which, a lot of the cruises I do, especially the 3 nights, we don't have a sea day. So there'll be a blackout period from whenever we leave the cruise port. And I feel like we're doing that earlier and earlier these days so that they can get us back onto the ship. Yesterday, we left Nassau behind. 4:30 p.m. is when we pulled out of there. So you all know that the journey to 60 nautical miles, it is not far at all, but yet we gave over 14 hours to make that happen. So I feel like, I would not pay a larger amount, but I could totally see if Royal Caribbean did up the price a little bit. Internet pricing is one of those that a lot of people don't realize is already based on supply, demand, and the cruise ship. So certain ships have higher pricing for the internet packages. And it also depends on how many people are on it, how many people they think are going to buy it. Here on the Freedom of the Seas, because it is a younger population that really enjoys their connectivity, I find that the price point is a little bit higher than it is on others. Very same thing with the drink package. Be prepared if you come to Freedom of the Seas for a weekend cruise to pay more for that drink package, because they know if you're getting a drink package on a 3-night cruise, you are absolutely going to be making very good use of that benefit. Hey, Kale, good to see you from Singapore. So I've got a good friend of mine, Livingston. I don't know if you know him or not, but he is over in the Thailand area as well. Audio is clear, blurry at times, but can be in short bursts. Okay, not ideal, but I'll take it. Perfect quality, froze again. Seems like it's not being reliable for us here on the Freedom of the Seas, the Starlink network. Though what I will say is it is still stronger and better than it has been with the prior model, where the OB3, which I don't know how technical everybody is on the call. I certainly am not a technical person. You hear that I mix up megabits and megabytes. It's a whole different world. But the OB3 technology that's on board Freedom of the Seas is supposed to be, up until Starlink, the best that there was. And so your big boy ships, your Oasis class ships, and your Quantum class ships have the OB3. On Freedom of the Seas, for some reason, it just doesn't work well. Like, the download speeds are consistently 1 to 3 megabits per second on the latest and greatest. And that's because, what I've been told at least, is that they were only purchasing, I think, 200 megabits per ship. That was all that was coming in, and then that split amongst your 4,000 guests and your 2,000 crew members. So the current model with Starlink is supposed to be doing 100 to 1,000 megabits per second for each one of those modules that are bringing in each of the satellite receivers, and we're going to have 12 of those. So the potential is absolutely there. They have not upgraded any of the access points that you see out in the hallway where the computers are. It's just pushing out additional bandwidth. So there may be some opportunity with the new installation of Starlink to go in and upgrade some of maybe the network connectivity. I think that it'll probably do a pretty good job. We just didn't have enough bandwidth coming into the ship in order to stay connected or to really trust it. I, have been known to go during the week and try to work remote, but recently I had been canceling a lot of those because I could not rely on the internet services here to help me be able to do what I needed to get done. So I'm very glad that we have Starlink. So, as a lot of you know too, it's pending FCC approval right now. So if you are getting ready to come to Freedom of the Seas and you're thinking, hey, I am excited that Starlink's there, I can't wait to use it, there is no guarantee that Starlink is going to be open and functional for when you come onto this ship, because it has not actually been signed off on by the FCC that a moving maritime vehicle or even a land-based vehicle such as a motorhome or RV can use the service. There's plenty of folks that are actually doing that right now, but it's not actually sanctioned or approved. So that's why you may have seen some articles on the Dish Network. One of the competitors to Starlink is now suing, saying that, hey, this is an unfair playing field because they're not playing by the FCC's rules and regulations like other companies are. So don't assume that you're going to have Starlink if you come to Freedom of the Seas. It very well could be OB3. I've also heard, some rumors that they may only be testing it for last cruise and this cruise, and they're going to turn it off on Monday. I don't know if that's the case or not. I think the rumor mill is probably alive and well for Starlink. All I can say is that it is working today. I am getting very solid speeds, even though the live stream is a little laggy. The audio might not always be great. This is still much better than what we have had in the past. So I haven't heard from anybody in a little bit. Is the audio quality still keeping up? How's my lag time? Is the video going okay? Oh, look, I can do a create a poll feature. So this is my first live stream. So I'm excited to be here and I'm learning all the features. Let's see, I'll do a poll of how is the video quality. So let's push that through to everybody. And I can do, let's see, how's the video quality? Good? Bad. I have to be pretty easy with this here. So I just sent over my first poll in my first live stream. So if you all want to fill that out and let me know how that's coming through, it's really great to see, how the live stream is working on Starlink. I think this is one of the key tests to how good it is, because when we think about increased bandwidth here on the ship and what we can do with it, a lot of it comes to video capability. So can I see my favorite YouTube cruise vloggers that are out there? Can I download shows on Netflix? Something that we know is very important. If you're traveling with kids and maybe bringing an Xbox on, maybe they want to be able to stream something from that Xbox. So there's a lot of great potentials here on, what all we can do with the increased bandwidth. So it looks like everybody is coming in with about 80% good, 20% bad. Again, for cruise ship Wi-Fi, it is still, in perspective, really good, I think. So I'm going to have to go back and rewatch the video. So I'm going to save it down, see how it's going, and see if this is something that maybe I can make a normal routine for all of you, so that when I'm out here on maybe a Saturday or Sunday morning, early afternoon, maybe I can go live consistently from the Bahamas and bring you all the latest and greatest on the weekend cruise. Any questions or things related to Starlink or anything weekend cruise, Royal Caribbean related that you all might have that I could help out? My first live stream, really just looking through and working, and can we keep a solid video broadcast going for all those people who are looking at coming on board, so you can have a good expectation of what to see, but glad to help out with anything else. Quickly scroll through the comments. Getting choppy again, I see, Javi, or Java. So the laptop that I'm using is a Dell XP Inspiron, I believe is what it is. It's probably a year and a half old. I am using internal modem to broadcast this. So it is a 17-inch monitor, I think. I bought it specifically for video editing on a IBM compatible, Microsoft compatible laptop. I didn't quite want to make the jump over to Apple to start video editing. I know a lot of people love their Apple products for video. I've just always used Microsoft. And so I bought the Dell about a year and a half ago before I started this channel. It took me a while to actually get the nerve up to post my first videos and start, sharing content with all of you. But I had the computer for about a year and a half, got it fully loaded out in hopes that I wouldn't need to get another laptop in a while. I did hear from one other person that the internal modem might not necessarily work well with this call, that I was having issues connecting on Friday. I'd get on and it would just boot me off and I would see no connectivity Um, so he said if you install an external modem, you may get better reception. And so that's something that I might check out is if I bought a standalone external Wi-Fi device, if you will. I guess it's not a modem at that point, it's a Wi-Fi device, that I would be able to get better reception. I haven't proven that, but depending on the cost of one of them, it's certainly something I am willing to give a shot to have better connectivity here at sea. I have not done a room tour. So, as you all can see, I'm in a really big room right now. I'm kind of tethered to my laptop, but I can turn a little bit. You can't see too terribly much. But I am in the Ocean View Panoramic Suite this weekend. So, there are huge windows directly in front of me. I have I've got the chair, a table on top of the chair, and then the camera on top of that so that I can get it at the right angle. But I will be posting a room tour on the YouTube channel probably later this week. But unfortunately, because I'm tethered to the laptop for the stream, I'm not able to easily get up and move around at this point. Hans, thank you for the feedback. 10 minutes solid stretch of streaming without any kind of interruption or lag from a cruise ship, you guys. Like, I get goosebumps thinking about it. I am on a cruise ship live streaming. That's how good the Starlink connection is right now. Again, everybody's on CocoCay, kind of except for me right now. But it's really neat to be able to come to you live to see that I can download videos, I can upload videos without that much time. So I don't know if you all have come on and tried, your phone maybe got in the cycle of trying to upload something, or maybe it's accidentally going through and updating your apps. I've definitely had to turn that off because that will drain the bad bandwidth coming into my phone. If I come on the ship and all of a sudden I get 5 pop-ups that I need apps to be updated, it's going to take 5 hours for those 5 apps to be updated. So I actually turned off that functionality on my phone. It is now on. I have to go in and push it. So I only do that when I'm on land on a good Wi-Fi network. So pro tip, if you are on one of the other ships, please make sure that you do turn off that automatic update for your applications, because that will kill the bandwidth on your phone. If it's already slow and lagging, that's just going to really hinder it. And if you do have the manual option, don't go in and push it and say, oh, Brandon mentioned I should do this. Don't accidentally go in and say, let's download all 30 of those apps, because you'll never use the phone again on that actual voyage. I have not tried using Zoom on it. So this is actually the first one or live streaming that I have done. Zoom is certainly one that I should try out. I did some speed tests yesterday with Netflix as well as YouTube videos. YouTube videos streamed absolutely fine at the highest resolution of 2160. So that was perfect for my laptop. I was even able to jump ahead, and it did not take any time to buffer. So it was downloading, well in advance. Zoom, on the other hand, I didn't get a chance to try out yet, but I know a lot of people enjoy using Zoom. So I will certainly have to give that one a whirl. That's a huge video conferencing one, especially for people that want to stay connected, maybe reach out to family members if you're not using a FaceTime or a WhatsApp video chat. It is a great another option for people to be able to use. So when I say weekend cruise south, that is absolutely what I'm talking about. It is a Friday to Monday morning, actually. So it is a 3-night, 4-day cruise, technically, where you board on Friday. Traditionally, all aboard is going to be around 3:30 in the afternoon, 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So get to the ship a little bit early on Friday. We then sail on Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and we are back into Port Miami at 7 a.m., 7:15 a.m. We are able to get off the ship on Monday morning. So if you are like me and have a job where you need to be back at your desk at a certain time, it allows you plenty of time to be able to get off the ship and be back in your office location on Monday morning. Of course, pending any issues. So if the cruise ship is delayed, there's bad weather. I could not tell you the last time that we were significantly delayed getting back into Miami work. It's a little bit of a jolt, if you will, directly into work, but it is a trade-off I very gladly make, because you all know I love being here on my weekend cruise. So I'm glad to do that. There's also a weekend cruise by Royal Caribbean out of Port Canaveral. So you've got the Independence of the Seas, I believe it is. running the weekend cruise. We're actually with them today in CocoCay, so I can see their helicopter pad over here. We are in port with them today, and they do the 3-night and 4-night sailing. So midweek is Monday to Friday, and then the weekend cruise is that Friday to first thing Monday morning. Other cruise lines offer this as well. You've got the Carnival Freedom, I believe, is operating those out of Miami, as well as the NCL Sky used to do them. And I've even seen, so I was researching some of them. You'll find random weekend cruises out there, such as MSC, as well as Disney Cruise Lines. Go figure. If you want to pay a good amount of money for a weekend cruise, Disney also has a few of those coming up to give people exposure. That'll be out of Port Canaveral. I imagine a lot of people are probably doing Disney World, Disneyland, and then heading over to Port Canaveral to jump on a cruise ship for the weekend. Personally, I think that that is a great way to unwind and relax after the crowds and the hustle and bustle in Disney World, is to go on a cruise and just relax and get some sun. So I think that that is well played, Disney. And I think I've seen a lot of people also do that with the Royal Caribbean ships up there. Sounds like the audio went out. Audio fine here. I wonder if it's just based on, I don't, I would think that the stream sends it out to everybody. So hopefully that's resolved. Can I get some thumbs up or let me know that the audio is fine? Larry, thank you. I see that your audio is fine. Kathleen, it's good. Video's back. So it sounds like it's still hit or miss. So again, I'm sitting in my stateroom at the very forward portion of the ship. It's because I'm in this beautiful ocean view balcony. Can't wait to share the room tour with you of it. But I've got, looking at my Wi-Fi bar down at the bottom, just one. So there's what, 3, 4 options that you can have on the fan thing. I've only got one right now. It goes back, but I'm a good ways from an access point out in the hallway here. So even that I'm being able to keep this is pretty good. So if you are on a cruise, one trick that I've learned, or pro tip that I've learned, and you're trying to get better Wi-Fi, go close to your door. So the access points, and I've even tested that out in this actual room, the access points are all in the hallway. They are not in your cabin. So if you want better reception, if you needed to download a Netflix video, and honestly, if the lighting was better over in my door, you can see it's kind of dark over there. It'd be easier for me to stream out and have better quality, I imagine. But that is a best practice. Go sit by your door. The other thing, and I've heard some stateroom attendants tell me this when I've complained about the Wi-Fi, they're like, you have to open your door. If you open the door to your stateroom, that big old metal door definitely stops the Wi-Fi reception from being as strong as it can be. So even if you prop your door open, I don't necessarily think you want to sit there with your door open for hours on end. But again, if you're downloading Netflix, you want to download a YouTube video, I think that you could easily go open the door, or like me, go up to the Viking Crown Lounge and just sit on one of the chairs there. Normally it's very quiet up there, except for in the evening hours when they may have an event going on at some kind. Hey Java, yeah, it probably would be more interesting to stream from the deck. I actually was thinking, there might be a potential to stream over from CocoCay. So you'll have to see me in sunglasses because these light eyes of mine cannot stand that bright sun that's out there today. Because I walked out earlier. Somebody said that Independence of the Seas, they thought they saw the Starlink poles installed, so that they were ready to put the device on there. But I walked over there and I could not see those poles. So that was just something somebody said. I have disproven the myth that the Independence does not have the poles on it for the Starlink at this time. But I was thinking about actually live streaming from CocoCay if we proved that it actually worked. So if you all remember CocoCay, if you've been here before, when you come into the bay, when we used to tender, there's that little in the hidden beach that nobody really sits on that has beautiful. They used to have 2 plastic tables there that I was like, oh, these would be beautiful to live stream on. I could have the ships in the background. But alas, they must have blown away in a storm or they've been removed. There is no table over there now. So if I can find like a nice light folding table, I would still like to do that. Or maybe from Captain Jack's Grill, where there's music playing, things like that. If I can get the music toned down a little bit or get to a place where that doesn't come through, I think that would also be a really cool spot to be able to broadcast from. Hey, Brenna, thank you so much for the donation there. That is my first one, Brenna, so I will always remember that. I have not gotten another one. So thank you for tuning in and checking out the video quality. hopefully we continue to see that this does well. I guess that's a super chat. Is that what you call those things? I'm out here learning with all of you. You all actually probably know how to do lives better than I do. This is my first one, so hopefully one of many more to come. I will be here next weekend as well. And then after that, I'm going to have to take some time off, unfortunately. So work is going to be taking me. Well, number one, I'm going to go visit my family in North Carolina. So they have a place at the beach at North Carolina. So for July 4th, I'm still on a boat. It's just a much smaller 26-foot boat. Is a beautiful place to see the fireworks and to enjoy with my family. So that is one weekend that I dedicate to them. So you all hear that I go on a weekend cruise just about every weekend. And that is one of the weekends that is always blocked off for me to go and enjoy my family time. So shout out to them. Hopefully they've actually seen that I've gone live so that they can see me, but knowing them, they're probably busy today. Happy Father's Day to my father as well. If you are tuning in, I'll give you a shout out in the live broadcast. I'll give you a call later to chat about that and see how your day is going, but you're probably out celebrating with everyone in North Carolina. And after North Carolina, I get to go to New York City. So I might do some live streams from my hotel room there. Work is taking me there for a few weeks. But as soon as that is done, I am coming straight back to the freedom of the seas, my true home, if you will. It's funny, I was talking to somebody the other day, this was probably a month ago, and I said, I was going through my schedule, and I said, oh, I'm going to be taking to my house probably, this weekend for like 4 days. And they're like, Brandon, you do trips to your home. And it's weird that that's exactly how my mind kind of thinks is the cruise ship truly more my home. Like I'll do trips here and, I use a lot of crew times on, hey, I'll sign on or, whatever. And just because I've picked up their lingo. But I definitely say that, oh, for this trip home, because it is a planned intentional time when I am at home before I am going to the next place. And it's normally no more than 4 days unless I'm shifting something up. I am rarely home for 4 days and I'm out here with all of you. Hey, Kristen, no worries. So this is my first live. So hopefully there's some great information here on Starlink for you. And I'm going to make sure that I do repost that live. I'm going to have to figure out how to do that, but I'm sure this tool is hopefully intuitive enough for me to be able to put all of that together. The NY Clover for Life, thank you again. Putting me on the spot here. Let's see what the question is. There is validity to the open door theory if you're trying to get better Wi-Fi. I have proven that one time and time again, that the closer you get to the access points, the better off your reception is going to be in the room. So I was even doing a voice over IP call. So where I have Wi-Fi assist turned on my phone on Friday. And, my reception in this room hasn't been great. What I did, my trick to it is I put my ear pods in, which are connected via Bluetooth, allowing me to move around the cabin. And I placed my phone directly beside of the door and my bars shot up. So if you are looking for better Wi-Fi, you're in a room that is at the extremities. That's where I see this the most. So I am all the way forward in this Ocean View Panoramic Suite. You're going to find that your reception might not be the best with those access points, but by the door, it gets better. And if you open the door, it is even better. I don't mean, just crack it. You really have to prop it open to make that work, but it does work much better. It's interesting. You mentioned, Fraser, European ships. So the current satellite system, the way that I understand it, is they're set up to beam their megabits, whatever you want to call it, to certain areas where there are the most people on the cruise ships. So here in the Caribbean, we do have a lot of those satellites focused here because we have a lot of cruise ships. Over in Europe, you have a few cruise ships, but nothing like we have over here in the Caribbean. This is also why, you're hearing a lot of people from Alaska right now complaining about the speeds of their Wi-Fi. And there's a few issues for that. Number one, the satellites aren't really set up to support Alaska the way they are in the Caribbean. So that just doesn't come through as good. They also probably haven't kept up with the demand. This year is the largest cruising season Alaska has ever seen. So just Royal Caribbean has, 4 ships over there, including the Ovation and the Quantum. So huge ships over there. Princess is still there. Disney is there. Everybody in they're all in the Alaska market. and they're sucking up all that. Our Wi-Fi depends on, number one, how much that satellite is able to send out. It then gets distributed to the ships. The ship then distributes it to all the people on land. The other thing that gets you in Alaska, and you've got to be careful for this. Luckily for us U.S. travelers, we can use our cell phones when we're in port in Alaska because it's part of North America. But if you're trying to use the satellite, the mountains of Alaska, so you'll pull into some beautiful places, but you'll see the big mountains there. They're going to block your satellite reception. So it's going to slow down, if not make it non-existent, sometimes when you are in port. So just be cautious of that if you are going to Alaska. The one thing with Starlink that I think is still going to be the case, and I've seen other people in the comments confirming this, is that if the weather is bad, it's still a satellite. So if we have a strong thunderstorm that comes through, I would still expect these Starlink satellites to not get good reception and maybe even cut out if there's a big storm and a lot of cloud coverage above us. Many of you may have had satellite dishes in the 1980s, those big old ones in your yard. Same thing when a storm would come through, it blocks the satellite reception. I just don't think that there's a good solution to make that happen. So keep me honest. If somebody has better information on that, make sure you mention it in the comments. But I would expect that if you do have significant cloud coverage, I should say, not just, some sparse clouds, that you're going to be seeing some connectivity issues. Even with Starlink, it is still a satellite network. And so it's got to be able to beam through those clouds. Hey, Cruising with JT, welcome on board. Yes, the internet is going back and forth. I'm hoping it's staying better more times than it is not. Cruising with JT, you all has his own YouTube channel as well. So if you want to check him out, make sure that you go to his channel as well. He's got some great content that he's pushing out there as well. Lynn, you're coming to freedom. I'm going to miss you. I was just telling everybody that I've got to go to North Carolina. I don't have to. I'm choosing to go to North Carolina. And then I am going over to New York City for a little bit with work. So I will not be here then. I'll be here next weekend, but then I've got to take 3 weekends off. So it will be probably the longest I've been off ships, at least since the startup. I have consistently been coming to ships at least every 4 to 5 days. And I think there was one period, you all may know that I just got back from Europe doing a land trip about 2 weeks ago, and I took 2 weekends off. So this will be my latest step coming up. Oh, Hava, great point. I should open the door. Let me see if I can prop it open to see if I can get a little bit better internet. Hey, Ryan. Just propping the door open. I need something to do that with, so here's the suitcase. All right, so let's see if the reception goes up. I can tell you, I already see a huge difference in the Wi-Fi button down at the bottom. That little Wi-Fi fan has gone all the way up to the top now. So let's see, is this internet quality any better now that this is coming through? Ryan was here. Ryan is another, I don't know if I'd call Ryan a weekend cruiser. He's more of a midweek cruiser that, dabbles in the weekend. But he has been sending me reporting on how the Starlink has been going. So a lot of the early speed tests that I was seeing were coming from him, and they have been wonderful speeds, even midweek. So it is great to hear that that is working. NYC Clover, perfect. Glad to hear that it is working better. So whoever asked about, have I tested the open door policy and putting that together? Thank you. Apparently, I have not drank enough coffee this morning to say, hey, I need better connection. Why don't I open the door? So that works out very, very good. And airflow and Wi-Fi flow is both better. It is apparently. So well done. My laptop battery here might be cutting out also. I've got a little bit more to go. So the problem is all the metal on the ship. So Java, I think that a lot of it, it's just there's a lot of metal here, and they don't have a lot of access points by every single door, and they're not in the room. So if you can open that door up, as you see, it is making a huge issue. It is not Starlink. So let me actually, now that I've opened the door. I did a test earlier, speed test, while live streaming. So keep in mind, I'm already doing this at the same time. I'm going to click on go on the speed test once again. And let's see now that the door is open if it is improved. Earlier, it was coming in about 50 megabits per second on the download and about 7 to 10 on the upload. And right now, it is coming in at 82, 83 on the download speed. And let's see now that it's switching over to the upload speed, if we got that to go up. And that has gone up tenfold. So that is at 26, 27, 25 megabits per second, which if you were trying to do a Zoom call, a live stream like this one, that is more than enough bandwidth to be able to pull that off. So if you are, needing to stay connected for work, you need to do a Zoom call. Open the door up. If you're in a room that's at one of the extremities, you can certainly do that. Anybody who, the Facebook Live that we're them as well, if they come through, us on the weekend cruise, on the louder side, especially when the bars are closing or we're coming back from the Oasis Lagoon at CocoCay. Those are the places that we live for. So that is awesome. So there's not, well, I guess there is a library on here. I forgot about that. It used to be the old Pinnacle Lounge. But you could stream from there. But I would tell you specifically here on Freedom of the Seas, that is one of the places that has the worst Wi-Fi on the entire ship is here in the library. And they probably do that. I don't know why they do. You think people would take their laptops in there to maybe get some work done. But that room has the absolute worst Wi-Fi on the ship. I used to go in there when it was a Pinnacle Lounge, and even my phone would completely disconnect. It could not get signal at all. So we could probably open the doors there and get that, but the signal that comes through in the library is not good. I would recommend going up to the Viking Lounge. There's lots of points of access that you can use up there, and normally there's not too many people there either. JT, I'm hopeful that this is, going to give a lot of people the option to be able to cruise at sea whilst you're working. A lot of us are in remote style jobs, especially with COVID or post COVID, I should say. So hopefully it will open that up and allow more of us to be able to come out here and stay for a longer period of time. I love my weekend cruises. I may stick to those and just do some fortnights in between. But I love being out here. So if there's a way that I can reliably do that, I'll certainly explore that option to see if we can do that. Java, enjoy your trip to Vegas. Don't put too much on black for me. I like red. All right, so I have this poll going. I guess I could end that poll. Now that the Wi-Fi is, or the door is open, let's see if how the quality is now. Quality of Wi-Fi or quality of video feed. Better with the door open, and let me spell with correct. Or can tell no difference. So for those of you that just joined, there you go. The poll is coming to you. Let's see if you feel like it is better with the door open, that I'm getting better reception. Hey, Mary from Ohio, welcome to the live stream. Ryan, it's interesting. The way that I pick my room is not based on Wi-Fi, contrary to popular belief. It's actually traditionally based on what room number can I remember the most. So like 9334, something like that. This one is 1854. It's not the best number to remember, but it works. So my battery, let me see if I can grab the charger. So for my first live, I didn't realize it would be popular. Anybody would be here. So I can say that I was probably a little unprepared for this, but glad to be here. And let's see if that'll stay connected.